Welcome back to the Milwaukee Show, and today we're talking about game number 4 between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, where Edmonton, the team from Alberta, almost screws the pooch late in the game, but guess what? Evan Bouchard, after Vancouver is able to get those 2 goals, one on the empty netter with the extra man on the ice, they get out, Bouchard goes back on the ice and he says, hey, I gotta get home actually. Gets on the ice, blasts one past Shilovs, sends them away. Where Pickard, whatever you want to say his name. I know it's Pickard, but I've said Pickard, whatever, my whole life. And it's fun to see him get that win, right? Because before I get to like how his actual play was, I think for most people my age, like Calvin Pickard has been a part of our lives because of NHL. I think a lot of us who have been playing NHL in their teenage years or whatever have had to deal with Calvin Pickard at some point in their career, in their franchise mode. I'm sure all of us at one point have signed him to be their backup, or like especially like 5 years ago, maybe his potential I remember used to be starter, I think, and I went on a risk to get him, and then he truly failed me. Like, I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with him in the past, and for me to see him get his first start in the playoffs and win was kind of special to me. Like, and he didn't do that good, I will say. Like, he did not truly impress me. Like, he never really was like, oh my god, okay, yeah, he's earned the starting position, right? It just felt like he was a little bit more not horrible like Stuart Skinner is. Because if you've been around this channel enough, you know that my thoughts on Stuart Skinner is that he has never truly impressed me that much. But Pickard, however you want to say his stupid name, I think he has earned the net for right now. He definitely was more consistent, more competent throughout the play. And the same thing kind of goes for Shilovs, right? Where Shilovs is the Vancouver Canucks, like, they have to use him, right? They don't really have any choice, and at this point, like, DeSmith, like, because Shilovs has been on the roll and has been the goalie to get those wins, and I don't think it would have changed if DeSmith was either. Like, I think Casey DeSmith is a fine goalie, would at least be just as fine as Shilovs. So the thing between DeSmith and Shilovs is he is actually in net trying to earn, like, a backup position, or maybe starter position somewhere, right? Or at least earn the NHL. Because right now, like, he doesn't want to go back to AHL at this point, right? He wants to be up in the NHL, and whether that is through the Canucks shifting away from DeSmith and make him the backup, or if Shilovs gets able to get traded somewhere else, like, he's trying to fight for a job right now, and you can tell that passion is in his play. But at the same time, I'm not, like, he's solid, like, good goalie. Like, I think as a Canucks, like, semi-fan, that I'm like, yeah, he's earned the net, he should be playing, but here's my issue with both of these teams. Even though this was a fun game for both these teams, or Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins getting goals, it was a fun back and forth game throughout. Third period, Garland's goal is not that special, and then the Dakota Joshua one's just a good extra man on the ice. But here's my big issue with both of these two teams, is the fact that those last 3 goals for both of them, so the Garland, Joshua, and Bouchard goal, like, these two teams are in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's just each game so far, I'm just like, I get less and less like, yeah, like, these teams are going to go far in the playoffs, because that defense and goaltending just isn't there. When they have right around the corner, they're going to play up against a team like the Dallas Stars, who can clutch up and shut down a team like the Avalanche, even though they might be a little bit, like, injured right now, and guys getting drug tested and can't play anymore, but they're able to shut down plays of Nathan MacKinnon, the MVP in my opinion this season. Makar is stripped off the puck by Wyatt Johnston. They have so much firepower. They have Jake Ottinger in net. The defense can just shut down any line, and that worries me, because either team, right now, the Vancouver Canucks, their big issue is, like, I would say, like, their top end guys, like, not getting true, like, consistent points throughout, and just, like, keep going and getting good points when they need them. Like, this is when you need a guy like Carter Verhaeghe, which they do have, like, JT Miller or whatever, but guys like Elias Pettersson and then, like, Miller and just, like, all these guys, like, where are these goals coming from, right? They don't get them. They need these guys to pop up on the board and get those clutch goals when they need them to go far. And on the other end of the ice, they also need to clutch up and shut down those plays, right? Draisaitl, this is his 8th goal of the playoffs on the power play. McDavid, I thought, scored a goal, but it was actually Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And Like, it's just throughout, and then Bouchard, right? It's all these goals, especially that Bouchard one. Like, the clutchness to finally score that goal, tie up the game in the third period, score those 2 goals in the third. And then, Bouchard, they just get back on the ice. Kane has, I think, a good play. Bouchard gets the puck, just blast it past Shilovs, right? And I get it's like a screen, so it's like Shilovs doesn't have anything to do with it, really. Like, what is he gonna... He can't see anything. But my issue is that it's all of this combined and who they're gonna play eventually. If it's the Stars, and if somehow they get past the Stars in the finals against the Rangers or the Hurricanes or whatever team in the East it is, right? To me, both these teams, like, their goaltending is subpar, like, is mid at best, and mid doesn't always need to be horrible, right? Mid literally just means mid, average, nothing special about it. And these two teams, just the goaltending, mid. The defense, especially mid. Clutch defense, oh my god. Like, it isn't there. And to me, it's just... neither of these two teams have really impressed me. That is my biggest issue. And I can just... I don't know, like... Last year, the Oilers, I was like, oh yeah, I was convinced. I was like, this could be the team that goes far. And they almost did, but they ran into the best team and the cheating team of the Vegas Golden Knights. So, what are they going to do about that, right? Like, they lose, right? But last year, I was like, yep, this is the team that they put together. I like it. I think this could be the one, right? And this year, it's the same thing where it's like, I feel like they have the pieces, just they don't play to their ability, especially the defensive side of things. And I like the additions that they have on this team, but I don't know. There's something about both these squads where it's like they are not going to win the Stanley Cup. One of these two Canadian teams are going to get knocked out this series, and then next series they're going to lose to the Avalanche or the Stars. And to me, it's for them in this series, right? So let's go back and focus on this series exactly, right? For me, this is a good game for the Oilers, right? It's a good game where they get goals throughout the game. They have good block shots, hits are almost even, shots, they got good numbers in shots, right? They really are challenging Shilovs. And the guys that need to show up are here. Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Bouchard, McDavid had an assist. Like, they have the guys that need to get on the board scoring throughout the series so far, right? The issue for me is just like they almost screwed it up, right? It was right there, right? It was that close to going to overtime. Even if this goes to overtime, I don't know if I trust Calvin Pickard to be the guy that shuts down in overtime in the playoffs, right? And to me, if you're going on Calvin Pickard, of all players, and I know you can tell me in the comments below, oh, he's been playing good. Oh, in the regular season, he like showed up or something like that. Sure, all goaltenders go through that phase. But even if he is like playing like solid hockey at one point, right, or even just a game or so, in the long run, they need to still win. They need 2 more wins this series, and then next series, and then next series. So they still need 10 wins to win the Stanley Cup. Do you think Calvin Pickard is the goaltender that's going to stand up to the Dallas Stars for 4 wins, or the Florida, Boston, New York, or Carolina? I don't think so. And it's just the same thing with the Canucks, right? Which they could get Demko back, and Shilovs has shown the passion. But the issue of their top guys like not scoring points in this playoffs, and the defense just not being as like incredible as it has been, and the way that they're already having these issues against a team like the Oilers, it's like spells trouble for me. And they had the issue against the Nashville Predators too. So when either of these two teams really stand up to a true Stanley Cup contender, which they haven't done yet, where a team like Dallas is playing against the Avs, who I could definitely see going the distance now without Devon Toews, and the Nichushkin's a different story. But regardless, the Hurricanes in New York, 2 teams that I had in my top 4 of winning the Stanley Cup. Florida and the Bruins, 2 definite teams that have earned their spot as like legitimate contenders. These 2 teams have played Nashville and LA, both teams that either don't deserve to be in the playoffs or really not contenders, and they've knocked them out, and now they're struggling against each other, right? To me, neither of these 2 teams have truly impressed me, and they still need 2 more wins in this series, and I see this one going to 7. And within these 3 games that are left in this series, I need to see something better out of them. They need to make those moves. Rick Tocchet really needs to get his guys to come together. He needs his top boys to get going, especially Pettersson, and just get points on the board. just get things on the board. They need those goals and show the defensive weaknesses of the Oilers. And for the Oilers, and especially since the Oilers had those issues against the Kings of all teams, the offense that the Canucks should be there, right? With Quinn Hughes on the back, even Hronek back there too. Zadorov, what he's bringing, right? Where is Pettersson, right? Where is Pettersson? JT Miller needs to be that, clutch player. Besser needs to get some goals on the board. And I know it's he's doing so much. You're an idiot, but listen. To me, they have the face-off against a team where those guys are doing that, right? You look at the Stars, all those guys throughout the lineup are scoring goals, right? Before everything went bad for the Avalanche, all their guys throughout the lineup are getting goals. For the Panthers and the Bruins, the Hurricanes and the Rangers, it's either top guys are consistently scoring for the Rangers or the depth and guys all around, like the Hurricanes, are scoring goals, right? Both these teams seem to show up for all ends of the ice, and we've seen it the last 4 years that it's the team that wins the Stanley Cup has the great goaltending, has great defense, and great offense with depth, right? Neither of these two teams are showing all 3 of those or 4 of those traits, right? And other teams are. So that worries me for the future. But for right now, the way I see this series going is in the Oilers' favor. I think the Canucks are going to really struggle if their top guys don't consistently perform. And I think Pickard, whatever, if he I think he's going to play with a little bit of that passion that Shelovs has, and I think he is going to go on a good run, and I think this goes the Oilers' way in Game 7. That is my prediction, but that is all I gotta say, so thank you for watching this. You made it this far. Please, I am begging you, please subscribe. Please do it. Anyways, thank you for watching this. Too sweet. I hope you have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.